The truth was never missing, never buried, never erased. It was right there, in the open, seen by everyone, understood by no one. And by the time they realized it, everything had already gone too far. If stories like this pull you in, stay till the end, because this one doesn't just twist, it flips everything you think you see. The courtroom felt steady, controlled, certain. The kind of atmosphere that comes when people believe they already know the outcome. The accused stood quietly. No reaction, no interruption, just watching as the case built itself around them, piece by piece. Every statement added weight. Every witness reinforced the same direction. It all pointed one way, clear, direct, too clear. But no one questioned clarity. Clarity feels like truth, and that was the first mistake. The first witness spoke with confidence, precise memory, sharp details. Everything aligned with the timeline presented. No hesitation. The kind of certainty that convinces a room without effort. Heads nodded, pens moved. The story was being accepted as fact. The second witness followed. Same structure, same flow, different angle, same conclusion. The courtroom settled deeper into agreement. Nothing clashed, nothing resisted. That smoothness felt reassuring. But smooth stories can hide rough truths. The accused remained still, almost too still, like someone waiting for something no one else expected. That silence started to feel intentional. The prosecution leaned into momentum. They presented the evidence, photographs, records, objects, everything arranged neatly, everything labeled, everything explained. It looked complete. Nothing appeared missing. And yet, something was. Not something big, not something dramatic, something small, something ordinary, something everyone saw. But no one stopped to understand. It sat quietly among the evidence, unhighlighted, unquestioned, almost invisible in its normalcy. The defense said nothing, no objections, no interruptions, just observation, careful, patient. That patience felt strange, because this was not a case that needed patience. It looked finished already. The third witness stepped forward, calm, measured. Their testimony followed the same pattern, reinforcing everything that came before. But when they described the sequence, they added something small, something subtle, a detail about positioning, where something was placed. It sounded harmless, almost irrelevant. The courtroom didn't react. Why would they? It changed nothing, or at least, that's what it seemed. The defense looked up for the first time, not dramatic, just aware. Something had shifted, quietly. The trial continued. The narrative tightened, everything closing in on a single conclusion. The air grew heavier, more certain, more final. The judge watched calmly, no signs of doubt, no signs of hesitation. That certainty spread across the room. People like endings that feel inevitable. This felt inevitable, until it didn't. The defense finally stood, slow, deliberate. The room adjusted instantly, because silence breaking always means something. They didn't challenge the big picture. They didn't attack the main evidence. They went somewhere smaller. That detail, the one about positioning, the witness repeated it, confident, clear, unshaken. The defense nodded, then asked about something else. Distance, timing, angle. The answers came quickly, still confident, still smooth. But now, something didn't sit right. Not obviously, not loudly, just slightly off, like a piece that almost fits, but doesn't lock in place. The defense returned to the table. No argument, no explanation, just silence again. But now that silence felt heavier, because something had been touched, something important. The prosecution continued, trying to maintain flow, trying to keep control. But attention had shifted, subtly. People were listening differently now, looking closer. The next witness unknowingly deepened the problem. They confirmed the same positioning detail, same placement, same sequence. Now it looked consistent, reinforced, stronger. But consistency doesn't always mean truth. Sometimes it means repetition. The defense stood again, this time more focused. They didn't ask new questions, they repeated old ones, carefully, slowly, breaking the rhythm, changing the pace. The answers came, but now they felt rehearsed, not natural, not observed. The courtroom started to feel it, that shift, that quiet discomfort. Something was wrong. No one could fully explain it yet, but it was there. The defense walked toward the evidence, not dramatically, just purposefully. They pointed at the object, the one that had been there all along, the one no one had questioned. They didn't describe it, they didn't exaggerate it, they just focused on it. That alone changed everything, because now everyone was looking, really looking, for the first time. And when people truly look, they start to see. The defense reconstructed the sequence, step by step, using the witness's own words, their own details, their own certainty. And then they aligned it with reality, with physical possibility, with actual positioning. And suddenly, it didn't work. The placement described could not exist the way they claimed, not with the distances given, not with the angles described, not with the timing established. It wasn't just unlikely, it was impossible. The room froze, not dramatically, but completely, because the realization didn't shout. It settled, slow, heavy, unavoidable. If that detail was wrong, then everything built on it was unstable. The entire sequence depended on it. Every witness used it. Every explanation relied on it. And it had been wrong the entire time, not hidden, not concealed, just misunderstood, or worse, repeated without question. The prosecution moved quickly. They tried to adjust, to reinterpret, to recover, but it was too late because the flaw was fundamental. It wasn't a crack, it was the foundation, and it had just collapsed. The accused remained still, but now that stillness felt different, not defensive, certain, like someone who knew the truth had always been there, waiting. The judge leaned forward, focused, careful, because now the case wasn't clear anymore. It wasn't obvious anymore. It was uncertain, and uncertainty changes everything. The defense stepped back, no dramatic finish, no raised voice, just silence, letting the truth sit where it had always been, in the open, unhidden, unnoticed, until now. The courtroom felt different, heavier, quieter, more aware, because everyone understood something at the same time. The truth hadn't disappeared. It hadn't been buried or erased. It had been sitting there the entire time, right in front of them, ignored, misread, overlooked. Not because it was complicated, but because it was simple. Too simple. And sometimes, simple things are the easiest to miss. The case didn't fall apart loudly. It unraveled quietly, thread by thread, until nothing held together anymore. And in the end, it wasn't new evidence that changed everything. It wasn't a surprise witness. It wasn't a dramatic confession. It was something that had always been there, something everyone had seen, but no one had truly understood, until it was the only thing that made sense.